We're talking about ways that you can invest in the value of your home and upgrade it from time to time. Now, new countertops, well, they're right up on the top of my list. And if you're going to put in new countertops, go the distance. Go ahead and get yourself a new sink and new faucets. If you're working on a budget, and I know lots of us are nowadays, then consider at least replacing your faucets. There are some beautiful ones out there, and they're much more efficient than the old style. When you start looking at them, look at the ones that have the water saver features. That's really important. And talking about water, did you know that if your kitchen sink is dripping now, or as far as that goes, any faucet in your house, and it's dripping 1 drop per second, that can add up to 10,000 liters of wasted water per year. That's a lot of water going down the drain. Now, think about too how you can change the style of your kitchen by just selecting the right kind of faucet. Take a look at this ordinary kitchen sink. Pretty plain and ordinary, correct? Well, by changing out that faucet, look how much more contemporary and edgy it looks. So it's a quick update that you can afford to do. Now, when you're out there shopping for those new faucets, you've got some real details you need to keep in mind. For example, look at my setup that I have here. I have 4 holes that are drilled in my marble countertop, so I'm going to look for a setup that requires 4 holes. Now, if you say, well, I fell in love with one and it only, it has a self-sprayer that comes out of the top of it, I want to get rid of this sprayer, what do I do then? Well, here's some options. If you don't already have a soap dispenser, think about adding one of those. Or maybe one of those new push buttons that will operate your garbage disposal. Those are some of your options, and as a last resort, you can always just get one of those little caps that goes over the hole. So know how many holes your setup already has. Pick out something that will really add to the style of your kitchen and upgrade it and invest in your home. Now, I really love my kitchen faucet. The old one worked great up until about 2-3 weeks ago. Then it started dripping and I found out I couldn't get replacement parts for it. Chris is my plumber and he said, Vic, let's just replace it, right?
That's correct, Vic. You contact me and ask me a few questions and I help you make your selection. A couple things you want to keep in mind when making a selection is the thickness of your countertop, how many holes you have, the layout, and the style that you're looking for.
So you're sure you don't get one that's too big or
Correct.
Doesn't work properly?
That could have issues with the backsplash or the windowsill.
Okay, so once you've made that decision on, the style and the type you want, what are some of the things that you want to think about as far as quality is concerned?
Quality is you want to pick a very good, well reputable name brand faucet, something that's full brass, doesn't have a lot of plastic parts, something that you're going to invest the time and money in purchasing that it's going to last a long time.
Well, now you say that this is a do-it-yourself project if you're kind of handy, so I'm going to let you explain to us how you plumbers put these in.
Great, thank you. Once you make the selection of the faucet, you want to review with the homeowner. In this case, it's Vicky. You want to lay out, if she's righty, you want to put the sprayer on the right-hand side. If you're a left-handed person, you put the sprayer on the left-hand side. And then what you want to do is go ahead and protect the surrounding area you'll be working. So you want to put towels and blankets on the countertop and inside the sink in case you drop any tools or any parts from the existing faucet or the new faucet. Then at that point you want to lay out another towel and open the box for the new faucet and lay everything out on the countertop and inspect it to make sure there's no manufacturer defects, that everything is contained in the box, and if everything is there you want to move on to the next step. The next step would be to go underneath the cabinet after everything is cleaned out for a safe working environment, and you want to be able to turn the stops off, both the hot and the cold. Sometimes the hot is connected to your dishwasher as well, so you can turn off both of those as well. Once the stops are turned off, you want to open your faucet to check to see if you relieve the pressure on the faucet and that the stops are currently working. Sometimes the stops do not work, and then at that point you'll have to turn the water main off to the house and rebuild those stops. Once they're taken care of, you disconnect the supply lines and you slowly take apart the existing faucet. Once it's all out and complete, you clean up the areas where the new faucet is going to be going into, and at that point you want to inspect any supply lines or any other supplies that the new faucet is going to be connecting to. The next step would be to take the faucet and install it. Start with the spout first, make sure that's laid out the way that you decided, tighten it down, and then move along to the sprayer location, the soap dispenser, and in this case we're going to use the disposal button to utilize one of the hoses on the countertop. Then once we get below, we're going to tie into the supply lines. Basic tools that would be needed for this application would be a basin wrench, set of standard pliers, and a couple small adjustable wrenches. Sometimes Allen wrenches, and also a 6-in-1 screwdriver set. Once it's all connected, you want to just do initial once over and look to make sure everything is laid out the way you had planned. Go underneath and make sure everything's tightened up before you go ahead and turn on the hot and cold stops. Before you turn that on, you want to remove the aerator in your faucet for any dirt and debris that had loosened up in the piping, the supply lines, and then let it run for a couple minutes, both hot and cold. Once it's purged all the air out and all the debris, you can go ahead and put the aerator back on and test everything else out. Once that's complete, you'd like to go underneath and just inspect with a flashlight to make sure that the supply lines, the packing on your stops, and nothing's leaking.
Whenever you're working around your house, keep your eyes open so you can notice if there's any problems with any of the outside maintenance of your house. I was out here working on the window box the other day, and I noticed that my shutters are really starting to